How did you feel the Lakers were handling their latest loss?
Well, you know, hey, George, you being in L.A., man, no loss is a good loss in L.A., right? But this was like the best loss of the season, I thought, for the Lakers. There was just a different vibe about them. So after the trade deadline passed on Thursday, they practiced on Friday in San Francisco, and Frank Vogel, their coach, said, hey, we got to reset our energy, our mindset. These are our guys that are going to be here. Let's move forward. And you could see a difference when they played the Warriors on Saturday. The energy shift. They were more connected. And to me, it was definitely the best game by Westbrook this month. He had 19, 7, and 5. But there just seemed to be a different thing with him. The pressure was off. He was just playing. There was no frustration. He was playing at the end of the game. He wasn't on the bench. So, yeah, the Lakers lost, but even AD and LeBron acknowledged after the game that, you know, there was a different mindset. There was a lot less pressure, and these guys are moving forward. So, you know, perhaps this is a good move mentally for the Lakers going forward.
And we've seen Klay obviously kind of rebound from the injury, had an incredible game the other night, 33 points, big second half for him. But what do we know about the latest on Draymond Green, Mark?
Well, Draymond Green hasn't played since January 5th. He's been working out on his own with his back injury. But I think there might be a little light at the end of the tunnel. He will not be playing in the All-Star game, but I'm starting to hear some optimism that in about 3 weeks he will be back on the court, which certainly will be great news for the Warriors. He will be in Cleveland for All-Star. He's looking forward to being around the top 75 players and doing his side job working for Turner. But the Warriors could have him and Wiseman back in their lineup in March, which will be great for their team because it still gives them a month and a half to get on the same page with Klay, who Draymond really hasn't played yet with. Wiseman hasn't played with Klay. Kuminga's playing great. Curry probably wants to get this team set. So the game this month of March is going to be huge for the Warriors, hopefully with a full complement of players for the first time.
Mark Spears, senior writer of The Undefeated. Thank you, sir. Good to see you. All right, man.
Take
care. All right, look, obviously things with the Lakers have been not so great. It's been a rough season for sure. So the question is, can the Lakers, Richard, turn this thing around and get better as the season goes on?
Well, let me say this. They can play better. They can get better. They have been playing awful. I think they would admit that. No one up here, that I don't even think that's a shot at them. So, yes, can it get better? Yes, it can. Are they ever going to get to a spot, in my opinion, with this current roster that they can contend for the Western Conference or they can contend for a championship? That answer is still no, but they can get better. I think at best, if this team kind of got things going, filled some of the gaps, maybe they get to the second round and don't have another first-round loss like they had last year. But what they don't want to do is get into the play-in game, not be playing great basketball, then have to go against an absolute juggernaut in Phoenix or Golden State. That will be a first-round exit for them.
Perk, let me ask you, how do they get better then? Richard says they can get better. How do they get better, and how much of that is on Anthony Davis?
Well, the first thing is they have to play with effort, and I think that's the bright spot we saw on Saturday against the Warriors, that they actually competed. Like, Anthony Davis in the fourth quarter didn't show up big for scoring-wise, but I thought defensively he had a pretty decent impact on the game. But I just think the Lakers just got to, at this point, like, they have too many veterans not to say we're going to figure this out. Like, Russell Westbrook, MVP. LeBron James, 4 times MVP. Anthony Davis, still in his prime at 28 years old. Like, we're not dealing with a bunch of rookies here. So they have to have a coming to Jesus meeting or figure it out or whatever the case may be. But here's where I disagree with RJ at. About the play-in tournament. The play-in tournament actually is the best thing that ever happened for the Lakers because that actually gives them a better shot of actually getting into the playoffs. Without the play-in tournament, they wouldn't even have a chance. And I understand, look, RJ, I understand what you're saying. They don't want to see the Suns or the Warriors in the first round. I don't even think they want to see the Grizzlies. But we all know that you never know what could happen in the playoffs, that when it comes down to it, that record is 0-0. What you done in the regular season don't even matter. They'll come in as the underdogs. They would definitely be probably the top 8 or 7 seed to ever be, one of the best 8 or 7 seeds to ever be in the playoffs that you would want to see. So, I mean, the best thing for the Lakers that happened was they got added to play-in tournament.
Well, the interesting part is, and the reason I brought up Anthony Davis was the fourth quarters, when he plays well in the fourth quarter, they win. When he doesn't play well in the fourth quarter, they don't win. They've had a lot of close games, and
so using that metric, he hasn't played well in a lot of fourth quarters because they have not won a lot of games.
Okay, well, look, in games decided by 5 points or less this season, in wins, he's getting 6 points in the fourth quarter, which is pretty good. And in losses, he's averaging less than 4.
Yeah, they just didn't get him involved in the Warriors game. But I think the issue with the Lakers now is management said to this team, this is your team. Make it work. And there's a clarity that comes from not doing something. There's a clarity that comes from management saying, this is the bed you must lie in now. And I think that they are in this place where they look like a team that seemed relieved. Didn't they seem relieved on Saturday? They seemed like, okay, it didn't happen, and we're going to have to make this work, not only for this year, but going forward.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.